Hey everybody, this is Glidercat, and it's time to play. We're back in Captain of Industry. Oh man, have I taken on a huge project here. I've been playing quite a bit since last episode. You can see here on the top left all the researches that have been completed. There's looks like about 9, and I haven't even dismissed these all yet. And you'll notice up top there's no lab available. So what's going on? What's going on? So now that we have some land to build on, some flat land, I have decided to rework our main production area where we're doing all our construction part 1s, construction part 2s, and construction part 3s. In the process of doing that, I've been leveling the ground down to 2 above sea level. That's just kind of my own little project. No real reason for doing that other than just setting that as a goal and doing it. It's been somewhat tedious, which is why I haven't recorded much of this content. But I'm at a point now where I think it's good to bring you guys back in. Let me show you where things kind of stand. I've reworked our concrete slab production. I don't know if you remember before, but it was pretty anemic. We only had 2 mixers doing concrete slabs, and we were kind of chronically short. We were doing it with crushed slag and crushed stone before, or gravel. We're going to do it just with crushed slag, I think, now. And I have a new setup here where we've kind of doubled the amount of concrete slab production, the number of concrete mixers. So that's going. I also, in the process of doing that, moved our kilns, producing cement. We've got storage for both of these items, tons of cement. In fact, I should probably pause these guys now. Boom, boom, because there's nothing for them to do. And then we've got a backup storage of concrete slabs here, which is looking good. I could pause these guys too. You can see the belt that is supplying concrete slabs into our factory just kind of ends. So I've got to I got to get that all hooked up. There's a lot of things kind of in stasis right now. I'll leave one on just in case we hook up and forget to turn the rest on. Here's the new smelting. So just like we did a few episodes ago, we took our copper processing and upgraded to the new blast furnace and the new metal casters, and the electrolysis I think stayed the same. Doing that with all of our iron smelting. We've got blast furnace 2s, and the way I've got this set up going forward, I've got 4 smelter setups or furnace setups just for producing mechanical parts. So these are used in maintenance, they're used in vehicle parts, but mostly for maintenance. I've got literally a ton of production here, along with 6 tier 2 electric assemblies doing mechanical parts, and then we've got that going into a storage. Basically, the way this is set up, these guys kick out their iron plates. They all join a belt. From all 4 of these, the belt can take the output of all of these. Maybe it can't. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we're getting 24 each, so 48, so almost 100, right? 96 for each pair. That's just under 200 for all of these, and our belt can take 200. Basically, the way this works, the iron plates come across, they enter a prioritized or a balancer. The priority output is to go into the factory where we're making our mechanical components, mechanical parts. And if that's backed up, then it just moves on down the line. Once we make the parts, all the output kind of goes around, comes up, and goes through a flat balancer. The priority is to kind of feed downstream production. Boom. But if downstream production is backed up, then it's going to put the parts into storage here. And then this one, I've got a little storage here. This is meant for unloading the ship dock. You know, every once in a while, the ship dock gets loaded with things when we deconstruct. I mean, it is like super duper overloaded. And I've already emptied out a bunch of this. Anyway, the goal of that little storage here, whoops, let's see, where was I? Way over here. Is I can turn off truck exports or something here. Boom, lock that down, and then put this guy on a keep full, and hopefully that'll empty our ship dock and feed the extra parts from the ship dock back into production. And so the way this splitter works, it's got a priority input coming from here. So we'll see if that works or not to keep items off of the ship dock. So that's mechanical parts. And then right next door, these are going to be construction part ones. So I've got, let's see, 48. Yeah. So enough to basically saturate a belt. And then same kind of setup here. Priority is to go feed downstream production. And if you've got extras, go ahead and store them, that kind of thing. And that'll be all of our construction part ones. Before we had a setup where I did construction part ones, and then I did construction part ones, construction part twos, and then I did construction part ones, twos, and then threes. This we're only having one set of production for each type. Right next door is construction part twos. These are just ghosted in. These are not going to maximize or saturate a belt with construction part twos. They're just going to take a saturated belt, in theory, of construction part ones and spit out construction part twos. Same exact setup. And then what I'm looking to do now is free up space to do construction part threes. We won't need quite as many over here. What used to be here was our copper smelting operation. I've moved that down this way on some newly created land. And I've got our kind of crushed copper belted in. This is not actually hooked up to these storages just yet. I'm trying to empty out this one and maybe even, yeah, we'll see. Maybe even we'll try to exhaust this resource before we actually hook up here. And I've got a big storage for coal. That's not hooked up yet. And I've got coal kind of routed temporarily. It's just taking a shortcut and coming straight into the smelting. The reason I haven't built this yet is most of our construction is offline right now. So I'm living off of saved parts, and we're getting plenty of parts as I deconstruct things. I'm getting a whole bunch of construction part ones, twos, and threes. We're actually in pretty good shape, but I'm just being very cautious on what I build until we're actually back up and running. So right now, the only production that's actually running is mechanical parts and copper plates. I think everything else in terms of metal is on hold or offline. The next thing, or let me show you what else we've been doing. Our digging crews, now that we migrated over to the bigger trucks, pretty much almost everything has been migrated over. In fact, yeah, we have no more little trucks. It's all big trucks. And then we have no more small excavators. It's all the big ones. And it looks like maybe I have one small tree cutter and two big ones. One small tree cutter. That's the only thing left I have that's a tier 1 vehicle, I guess. The planters, I don't think they have a tier 2. But with that change, or those upgrades, our terraforming has been moving at a much faster pace. So you'll remember that this was real close to some belts here that were hugging the cliffside and threatening. So the new factory is pushed back a little bit, and we are just about clearing out. We've just about cleared out the iron that is right next to the factory. Once we clear that out, we can start, filling in this area and using it as buildable land. Still trying to figure out the best way to go about mining every last nugget of ore. Might go with like these ramps and then just keep working the ramp backwards. And then once we get open space to fill, maybe create a new ramp that just is a backfill ramp or something. We'll see. But we have a little bit of stuff that's threatened here. We're grinding iron now as part of our move to the new blast furnaces. So that's what that guy's doing there. These are probably temporarily placed since they're real close to some ore. What else? Let me escape out of that. Not much going on that's new over here. This is all kind of untouched. pretty much the same. Food's a little lower than I would like to see. I mean, we have plenty, but it's a little spooky. Unity's in the positive. I think I do have food saver on 1 and 2. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Food's been going down. I've got the growth pause on, so we're not getting more people. And we have a ton of extra workers just because a lot of these factories are now offline. But we'll chew up a ton of those workers once we start bringing factories back online. So this part I'm kind of clearing out. You can see these guys are doing the terraforming just to bring it down to level 2 above sea level. I moved, like I said, the smelting operation. And next thing we need to work on is actually moving this electronics production somewhere out of the way. Because I want to get construction part 3 production kind of right in this area. And then I guess we have room for construction part 4s eventually over here. We'll have to move some stuff. And then up here, again, we've got iron plate production for mechanical parts. This is iron plate production for construction part 1s. Then we don't really need any more iron plates. And we move on to producing steel. So this is going to be the area for smelting steel. And we'll probably do quite a bit. We can't really make use of these extra plates. So maybe we'll put a storage for plates or something, these iron plates. Steel production is going to be here. I've got to get that worked on. Over by the coal mine, been having a bunch of terraforming. You can tell we've leveled off a ton of this whole top layer has been removed. But they got a little over aggressive, and my ramp for vehicles kind of got messed up. So I had to break these pipes and break these U-shaped conveyors just to allow vehicles back up here. So I've got a crew over here that is now going to put in a ramp. We take a look. They're going to put a new ramp in out of the way. That'll get us up to this level. I'm trying to get these trees cut. We have more trees than we need at this point. We'll have to find the right home for a tree farm. I'm not sure where the best place is. It may be able to stay over here. We'll see. What else? I moved the farm that's actually making the saplings up here. It looks like this thing is fully backed up. In fact, I could just pause this thing. It's just wasting people. We've got a whole huge storage of saplings here that's loaded. That farm was originally right up in this area. So I moved it to make room for our factories. And I've kind of spread things out a little bit. I don't like everything jammed together like it was. This area is a little bit of a mess, but we'll clean that up. So what else? Out this way, these guys have been doing a ton of work terraforming as well. So that land is all flat. I've definitely got to get some fill designations going to cover this up with greenery or soil. Back here is our kind of our current land limestone mine. What I really need to do is set this guy to do a ramp or something, because we have a ton of land over here that we can use for fill. Once we set our excavators loose on this, I mean, there's a ton of land here. Look how high this is. You take a look. 36 above sea level. So there's 35 layers here we can chew off in this middle section. And then this guy is up near 27 levels above. And this one's a little bit lower. 21 levels above sea level. And then it's got some other little hills on top. But there's a ton of land that we can use for fill. If we could get at it and get a team of excavators just terraforming, we could fill in all these eyes. We could bring that material down here and fill. What else? We've got enough coal. Our coal power plant is cut off from coal right now, but we've got quite a bit stored up. That's not urgent. Once this bridge is done that these guys are working on, I think I can reconnect these belts and it won't cut off our traffic moving up the hill. There's probably still a way for me to do it where it won't block traffic. But I'm just going to move to a new ramp that'll allow us to terraform all of this area flat. Coal mine is getting close to the bottom. If we look, boom, just got a few scraps. I keep having these guys dig a little deeper. Again, I'm not sure what the strategy will be to maintain this mine. Maybe we'll do the same kind of thing with some kind of ramp and then just keep working that ramp back. And eventually we'll be able to fill. We're getting real close to be able to fill. I'll just take up these retaining walls and start filling that in to make that usable land. What else? One other thing I did back here where we are processing our sour water. One of the byproducts we get is sulfur, right? And we were sending that sulfur over to make acid. Where the acid is, where is that guy? Here's our little guy making acid. And then also the sulfur continues on. And we're using it to make rubber. Well, we still had extra sulfur. And I had an incinerator burning that off. Where was it? Actually, I think there was an incinerator right here that was burning off any excess sulfur that we were producing. I've since moved to, we had limestone right nearby. So I figured, why don't we turn that into slag, right? I'm always complaining about not having enough fill. So this mixer takes 60 sulfur, mixes it with 12 limestone, and we get 30 slag out of it. Slag goes in here. It's set to always keep empty. And so we're getting a little bit of extra fill material. It's not a ton, but it's something. What else? What else? I think that's pretty much it to get you caught up with where things are at. The copper mine over here by the coast. Looks like we've reached the end of the copper on this side. So maybe, yeah, we'll have to figure out what we want to do. Clear out this land. Again, maybe we just work this ramp, keep working it back in this direction. Keep filling here. Looks like there's more copper. I thought this deposit was going to be like some little starter deposit. Like a tiny copper, just get you started kind of thing. But it's not. This is a huge copper deposit. And then we have all tons of copper over here too. These guys, terraforming, they're doing their thing. Not much going on here. They still have a path up. Not sure why this guy's empty. What's going on? Let's make sure these guys are linked. They are linked to deposit there. Did I not set this to copper? Yeah, copper. Where do you think you want to go? No idea. How can I deliver copper? No valid destination. You gotta be kidding me, right? It's right there. This guy is not linked to the right place. Okay, we need to link this guy right there. That should solve that problem. Let's just see if these guys all start hauling their copper all of a sudden. I think we had something. I had something break when these guys were doing the mining. I think the original storage broke. So I got rid of it, put a new one down, and I just forgot to link it. Yeah, those guys now will drop their copper off. It'll get ground down, go onto the belt, but that belt I think is currently disconnected like we saw. So let's get to it. Let's get to some actual work. Like I said, I just finished getting this copper set up. We're starting to store off some. There's some rework I need to do here a little bit, but it's not urgent. What I want to work on now is getting our circuit production going, or electronics production going. We need copper and we need rubber. And I was thinking about, should we move this rubber production? And I spent a little time looking at alternate recipes. I think we'll stick with diesel for now just to keep things simple. But all I need is diesel and sulfur. We've got that stuff way down here, right? This is where we're producing our sulfur. We may actually import some at some point. But my diesel and my sulfur are out here. This is probably where we should move the rubber production, right? And then we can somehow join up with these copper plates. Let's think about this for a second. We probably are going to have this coastal area with a cargo dock eventually. Another one. I don't want to jam too much stuff in here. Maybe we've got the copper here. Fuel. I would need to route fuel. Thinking of doing rubber and electronics somehow over here. This, by the way, is our paper production. It's not hooked up to anything just yet. I just kind of moved it from where it was. It was in the way. That can move again. Do we want rubber? I've been getting by with just 2 rubber plants. We've had more than enough production out of these guys. Yeah, just sulfur, diesel. Diesel. We could run a island-wide diesel line right through here. Or we could just do something temporary for the moment. Like I said, things are very much in flux. Here is a fuel line. We've got sulfur here. We could, let's see, our copper. Are we gonna still have some copper mine here? Right up here is probably safe for rubber production. And then once we have the rubber, we could send that over and maybe do electronics here. Doesn't have to be a lifelong decision either. We can move this stuff later. What about rubber production up in the corner here? Let's. I'm just gonna copy these guys. Thinking somewhere up here. I'm in planning mode, so nothing's gonna get built. Rubber out the back. Up. Thinking about where my belts are gonna go. What about something like this? Yeah, there's no waste product or anything. This is fairly clean production. We've got diesel here. Oh, rubber comes out the back. I think I want to reverse this or turn this around. Cut, rotate this. That's over there. We'll tap into that sulfur somehow. And then we're going to want some kind of storage for this too. Okay, let's just drop it down and see if I can get fuel. Okay, that's our diesel. Sulfur should be fairly easy. I can get at it. We're just going to have to block roads. You can come down like that. Bridge over like that. And then what do we want to do for storage? Put a big rubber storage here. We had kind of crazy setup. Some of this old distilling and pumping, we're likely going to clear this stuff out. I haven't used this in ages. We have a little bit of oil underground too that we could maybe decide to mine that out. You know, one of the goals of this playthrough, I don't know that we'll do it, is to extract every single resource off of this island. So that would include every drop of oil. In fact, I think there's another oil deposit on here somewhere, isn't there? Yeah, way over here. Don't know how much is there. But man, a lot to do, a lot to do. We're getting there. So yeah, let's think about this. We want kind of the same setup I have over here. Output. Trying to think of where to run the belts and where to put that storage. Thinking of putting the rubber storage right next door, underneath. I think we're safe. Do it up here. Let's grab it. Big storage, maybe. We're in planning mode, so let's just put something down. And then we'll take a look. Belt. Down. You connect up to that? Yep. And then let's do flat balancer. Like that. That goes into storage. And our priority is this way. So this guy's gonna, oops, wrong one. Could use level 2s, I suppose. Priority is going to be, you know, going out to production somewhere. And maybe I can do that same thing with this smaller warehouse. This one, I suppose. Rubber. Rubber. Again, the goal is just you can make use of this to get rid of stuff at the shipyard and kind of force it through into the dock, I suppose. Actually, what I want instead of that, I don't want that connecting up. I actually want that to go into the splitter. You go into there. This guy can come into here. And that's going to become our priority input. When possible, get rid of this. Use this stuff up out of this warehouse. That's the one that's emptying the shipyard. That's our priority in. That's our priority out. I think that's good. And let's Let's unpause at least one of these, right, to get things going. Boom, boom, boom. This needs to be unpaused. That needs to be unpaused. You. We'll wait on the storage. I think that gets us one guy being produced, and we need to unpause you up there. That's good. So that'll be rubber production. And now electronics. We have rubber and we have copper. Right now I've got 3 of these things going. I want at least 3, and I want to be able to scale up from there. Do I have fill designations over here? I do for level 1. I need to get this up a level. And I need to make sure it's only going to be filled with dirt. So let me take a look. See if I can find our tower. South Central fill designation. This guy is covering a different area. Looking for a tower we can use. This one, Coastal Copper fill designation. This is saying just do everything. Do I need that? As preventing dirt from being dumped. That's fine. I'm going to make use of this other mine control tower, and we're going to put it, going to limit to dirt. I want this area right in here. Boom. This, at least for now. And then I want this area to be filled to level 2. I think we should be okay. Yep. All right, how are we doing everything? Maintenance is good. Right now we're trucking these mechanical parts over to a temporarily placed array of maintenance buildings. This is going to move probably. And we'll obviously belt the parts there. So electronics. We're going to get copper off of this belt. This belt needs change too. This, I have like some overflow going into here for building purposes. We're using this for everything now because nothing, the copper plates aren't belted to anybody. But the way I've got this set up, I'm just getting some overflow from one of the casters. That just doesn't, or the electrolysis machines. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense the way I'm doing it. I think I want to do it the way I'm kind of starting to standardize on. I am trying to get rid of these trees, by the way. But they don't seem to want to cut them. Got some temporary storages over here. I just slapped these buildings down here thinking we can repurpose them for food later. Got a bunch of construction part 2s. This is mostly from deconstructing things. And then I got tons of wood here. I want these guys to cut trees from these areas that I want to build on. I'm going to sell off some trees real quick. Unity's looking really good. This guy will take trees. Let's trade a bunch for iron scrap and maybe a bunch for blocks for the heck of it. Okay, there we go. We have just emptied that warehouse of trees. Hopefully these guys will get busy and start clearing all this mess. I think this is mature. Should be able to start chopping those things down. Getting them out of our way. All right, let's do this copper first. Same kind of plan as before. I want a big storage. Will that place? Looks like it will. good place as any, I think, right? I can't place it. There's a tree in my way. No way to deconstruct a tree. Is there? Go away. Guess we'll wait on that. But what it's going to look like... Need upgraded conveyor coming through here. Gonna go... Guess we could go straight into a splitter. Or a prioritizer. I'm thinking our production's going to be off to the left here. How do we want to do this? Let's actually go this way. Like this. We can change this later. Flat balancer here. Maybe up there. We'll leave ourselves room. I'm going to want to set up that same thing with the other small storage to be overflow and all that from the shipyard. Not sure how that's going to play out just yet. Okay, wrong thing. That's our input. Priority output. Be right there. Okay, so that goes to... This is our belt going to production. And I'm guessing our first production is going to be down here. We're going to get rubber. Looks like we're already making it. Cool. How are we doing on... We've got quite a few construction parts. We could turn this guy on and start draining all of these rubbers. Particularly these guys. Let's actually put these on keep. Empty, they already are. Just thinking here. Bear with me. A bunch of rubber there. Let's pause this guy. We're going to shut these off for good. And I think I'm going to let this storage get built. Unpause. But I don't want anything going in there. I don't want to produce any rubber going in there. We're going to pause this belt. And... This guy's going to keep full. And truck imports on. And that way we can drain out these other rubber buildings that are going to need to be destroyed. This guy can be put on empty. Yeah, all that's going to go. Possibly all this is going to go. Maybe we'll leave a pump jack or two and just siphon out the oil. We'll see. Let's see. So rubber's back online, kind of. Got copper plates. And I think for these electronics, we want a lot. Just see. It takes 24 plates per cycle. And right now, what are we producing? May want to scale this thing too eventually. Maybe, if we scale off to the left, did we add more smelters and things off to the left? Probably don't want to build right there, right? We could just move the copper over here and build here. This is kind of out of the way, at least for a good long time, I would think. Got a decent amount of land. Just we're threatened by the ore deposit a bit. And I actually want a fair number of copper smelters. I mean, not copper smelters, electronics manufacturing. I'm thinking 6. But let's just take a look again. We get 24. We can process 24 copper plates per minute. And right now, this guy can dump out 4 times that, 96, right? 96. So it's a 1-to-1. But most, with our current setup, we could do 4. We could start small and then scale bigger later, too. So let's just plan this out. Keep an eye on things. Maintenance is holding up. Wood's gonna get replenished. And food is holding up. In fact, it might be accumulating a little bit with those 2 food savers on. And Unity's okay. All right. With that checked, let's grab a couple of these. I just want you two. I want to get, I think, 4 of these placed. Inputs in the middle. I deal with this mess. What is here? Water, acid. Make this work. Let's try it. And I want to belt down the middle. That. Another belt, 1 up from that. Kind of like that. And then inputs. Copper's going to find its way across. And I think, yeah, the inputs will come down from that way. Let's do... Top one there, bottom one here. Copy these 2. Rotate them. I'm going to leave a gap of 5 from both sides. I don't need to, because we're not stacking belts real high for the inputs, but just to be consistent, been placing these things 5 apart. That looks like it. It's... Okay, and then outputs. Same kind of dealio, I think. Yeah, same kind of deal as this. So maybe I take this. Gonna be something like that. We'll have to move that pipe. And that allows me to expand this down further if I need to. Or scale that up. Okay, I want you right there, but I'm gonna have to move the pipe. Let's do it. That pipe is still on high ground too. These guys need more land to terraform. Be nice if I could build this pipe on the lower land. That way I wouldn't have to tear it up so many times. I'm going to just check the mine tower for these guys and see what their range is. Not what I wanted to do. That is not what I wanted to do. Is there a way to cancel that? Doesn't look like it. And that guy's going to get scrapped for no reason. What I wanted to do was look at... Well, now he's unattached to anybody. I wanted to click on this guy. Boom. And I want to see your area. And make sure you can terraform for all that. It can. Let's go to the vehicle depot and get another one built. Replace the one I accidentally just scrapped. Kind of like these guys to chew through this land before I run that pipe. So let's route the rubber. Use level 2s, I guess. Maybe this guy should be up in the air right away, right? Boom. You're going to come across. Something like that. And then you're going to work your way. Minimize pillar by doing it that way? Not really. Boom. That's our rubber coming in. Definitely needs to be unpaused. Excuse me. Now we need to get our copper over here. Same kind of thing. I'd like this terraforming to get done so we can put it on the higher ground. This belt we know is going to get ripped out, so let's just take it out. Tell you what, let's wrap it here. So this episode kind of got you guys caught up to speed on what's going on. Like I said, we're living off of saved parts and scrapped materials for our construction. We've got a whole bunch of newly configured industry that is offline and not really hooked up. The only things we got going are mechanical parts, copper plates. We have paper, but it's not being routed anywhere. We just got rubber back online, looks like. And actually, I want to turn... What do I want to do with this? Kind of like to use up the rubber we have. Let's pause this guy, just for the time being. We got rubber online, and we're working on electronics. And yeah, we've got other things to hook up and keep in mind. Looks like power's going to hold up just fine. We have tons of coal ready. Yeah, that's it for this one. We'll pick it up next episode and keep working on the revamp here. And then, man, there's a ton of stuff I want to do. I want to get to processing our community waste. We can generate some fill from doing that. I want to start collecting recyclables. All of our maintenance, we're just throwing away tons of recyclables that we could be using. So we want to get that going and get that into the mix. We can scrub our exhaust, and then there's just a ton of tech that we haven't even looked at yet that I want to get to too. But man, I think this is going to, this revamp is going to give us the scale we need for a good long time to get into the late mid game, at least, I think, once we have this up and running. Almost there. Yeah, we'll pick it up next episode. Special thanks to Glidercat patrons and channel members for their support of the channel. Deeply Sincerely appreciate that support. And thanks to those of you that I'm giving suggestions and comments in the videos. Appreciate that as well. And I'll see you all in the next episode.